When we began building this house, I knew the journey ahead would be both exciting and challenging. But what I didn't know, what I couldn't have imagined, was just how deeply this process will shape us. This build has been more than a physical structure. It has been a teacher, a connector, and a mirror. Through it, we've learned countless lessons lessons in patience, resilience, and creativity. We have discovered strengths we didn't know we had, and we have encountered setbacks that pushed us to grow. And just as importantly, this journey has brought us closer to so many of you. We have built more than just walls and a roof. We've built a beautiful, supportive community that felt like a family. Hi, my name is Suowino. If this is your first time here, welcome. On this channel, I share stories of my life through cooking, farming, and homesteading. If these are the kind of things that interest you, I'll be so grateful if you join this little family by clicking the subscribe button. There's a lot more to come. Some of you have been with us since the very beginning, back when I was just filming TikTok videos while cooking. Others met me on Instagram, and most of you discovered me here on YouTube. No matter how you got here, I'm thankful you did. I truly believe this journey has inspired others, not because it's been perfect, but because it's been real. Sometimes people watch my videos and assume that what I do comes naturally or effortlessly, like I was born knowing how to do all this. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Everything I've shared has come from learning, trying, failing, and trying again. As cliche as it sounds, practice really does make progress. I'm not perfect. That's far from it. But I do my best to make the things I create beautiful and meaningful. These long videos I make are not just about the food or the building, they're about telling our story. Not just mine, but mine and my husband's. Of course, I can't capture every detail or every chapter, but in each upload, I try to share little pieces of our lives, our dreams, and the life we're building together. It's deeply personal, and sometimes it feels impossible to truly explain everything because, well, our story is ours. The pain, the joy, the struggle, the quiet triumphs, no one else can fully understand them, and that's okay. But what continues to amaze me is how some of you seem to feel them anyway. There are moments when we read your comments and feel as if you've been part of our private conversations, as if somehow you've heard us dreaming out loud. You say things we've only said to each other in private, and yet there you are, putting it into words with such clarity. And these are people we've never met in real life, complete strangers who feel like soul family. It's hard to explain, but in those moments, we are reminded that there are people out there who think like us, dream like us, and carry a similar light. You hold a very special place in our hearts. This journey has taught us so much: resilience, patience, humility, and a deeper kind of love. Not that we didn't have those before, but now we understand what they can really do to a person, to a couple, even to a dream. And as we continue sharing this journey with you, know that every comment, every message, every silent view means the world to us. You've become part of our story in ways you might not even realize. And for that, we are endlessly grateful. Now that you understand what this journey means to us, I want to take you right into what's happening at the site today. Yesterday, we worked on the sidewalls, slowly smoothing and shaping them with every handful of soil. The day before that, we focused on the entrance, making sure it stood strong and welcoming. And today we are working on the back wall, and also filling up that open space above the entrance door where we had placed the phyto. With each stroke of earth, we aren't just finishing walls. We are carving out stories, anchoring memories, and shaping the kind of life we've always imagined. So we decided to finish that front part now, so that by the time the fundies are done with the back wall, and hopefully have also worked on some of the inside walls, that section will have dried enough. You know, with this kind of building, timing really matters. Once a wall is done, it needs time to settle and dry properly before you can come back with another coat. So if we waited too long to finish the front, it will have set us back when it comes to time to apply the second layer. We are trying to move in a way that keeps everything in sync. Because ideally, when the rest of the house is ready for the next coat, that front part should be right there with them, on the same level. That way, when we eventually do the finishing touches, we are not going back and forth trying to catch up on one side while the rest is already ahead. Now, I also mentioned earlier that I wish we had used straight phyto throughout the house. This here is exactly what I meant. These ones you're seeing now are nicely straight, no bends, no awkward curves, and that really makes a big difference. Just by looking at them, you can already imagine how smooth and neat the final finish will be. When the phyto are straight, your wall just flows. It doesn't have those unnecessary bumps that show up once you finish layering a wall. Everything lines up clean and it just looks good. But we move with what we have, and we learn as we go. You can always tell which parts we did earlier on and which ones came later as we got better. So even though not all the phyto are straight, at least we know exactly what to look for next time. We finally got to the back wall, and by this time, the soil had already been ferried there. Most of it was actually dug from that semicircle we talked about earlier. That little spot has really come through for us. A lot of the soil we've used so far, both inside and outside the house, has come from there. It's been a huge help. Now they're mixing it with water to prepare a bigger batch than usual. The reason for that is because once they start working on this back wall, they want to go all in and cover everything, including the straws that have been sticking out. You'll notice they're not doing it pole-pole like the other areas. They want to get it all done in one smooth go, instead of starting and stopping. That way, the finishing is cleaner and the mixture stays consistent. It also saves a bit of time and energy because the mixing part can really take a toll when you keep doing small rounds. So that's where we are now, just preparing the mix and getting ready for that full stretch on the back wall. For that front wall, we actually asked the team to take their time. We don't want to find ourselves saying, I wish we had done this differently, especially now that we have already learned what's supposed to be done. No more guessing, no more rushing. We've made our mistakes and we've learned from them. So now it's just slow but sure, making sure every little space is properly filled, every section smoothed out the way it should be. We would rather it takes a bit more time, but we get it right the first time. I have seen some people saying that it looks like you're building in a completely deserted place, like there are no neighbors around us at all. But that's not the case. I do have neighbors. In fact, at some point I had stepped out of the site, just crossed the fence to say hi to one of them. You know how it is. Sometimes you just want to check in, see how people are doing, even if it's just a quick hello. We hadn't even gone deep into our conversation when I noticed the drizzle starting. I had seen the clouds earlier, they were definitely gathering, but I didn't think the rain would come that fast. And just like that, before it was even afternoon, literally around midday, we were standing there receiving showers of blessings. It was one of those soft rains, not too heavy, but enough to make you pause. There's something beautiful about unexpected rain like that. It's like nature reminding you to slow down, to breathe, and sometimes just to enjoy the moment. Standing there in the rain, I couldn't help but smile, because for a moment, everything felt still, yet so full of meaning. You know, people look at this place, this land, this process, and they wonder, why here? Why that way? But what if? What if you just create what you wish existed? What if the vision you carry in your heart is valid enough, even if no one else sees it yet? What if it actually works out better than you ever imagined? I think sometimes we have certain ideas not by accident, but because you're meant to bring them into existence. And maybe this build, this home, this lifestyle, it's not random. It's part of something bigger. There's this thing called the law of exposure. It says whatever you keep exposing yourself to becomes your thoughts, then your beliefs, and eventually your reality. And that's something I've seen in my own journey. From watching homesteading channels when I was just starting out, to scrolling through pages of people who have land, to cooking videos that made me want to cook better, not just for me, but for my husband, for my family, and even for my community. Even something as simple as watching people build with mud and clay gave me a picture of what was possible. And now here we are, doing exactly that, slowly, beat by beat. So when I talk about vision, I mean surround yourself with what you want to grow into. If you want peace, spend time with peaceful people. If you want creativity, go where creative things are happening. If you want to build a home that feels like you, start by imagining it fully and boldly. And yes, even if no one around you is doing it, maybe that's because you're the one meant to go first. You're the one meant to show others that it can be done. And in a way, I think that's what we're doing here too. Building more than just walls, we are building a life. After a little while, the rain subsided, just enough for everyone to slowly get back to work. You could hear the sound of tolls again, people laughing softly as they shook off the drizzle. Meanwhile, I had already started thinking about lunch. Cooking for me is never just about feeding people. It's like this constant source of joy, of creativity, of expression. And maybe it makes sense now. Because from way back, I surrounded myself with people who could really cook. My mom, my aunts, my mom's friends. Honestly, all the women I grew up around were and still are phenomenal cooks. So imagine that, at such a young age, I was unknowingly exposing myself to excellence, to love expressed through food, to detail, to care, to flavor. And even now, I have never grown tired of getting more exposure in whatever area I want to grow in, whether it's food, farming, building, or homemaking. I stay curious, I keep learning, and I never feel like I have arrived. Even with this build, I'm always picking inspiration from all kinds of places, online, offline, from the past, from dreams, from conversations that just happened by chance. And something I deeply appreciate is how my husband moves with me through all of it. There are times he just does things, not because I asked, not because I insisted, but because he knows me. He notices the little things, the way I light up when something feels just right. And somehow, he gives me a space to dream and create, while quietly helping to make those dreams come alive. That kind of support, it's not loud, but it's powerful. And in this kind of journey, it makes all the difference. Sometimes I wonder, have you ever started something without knowing exactly how it will turn out, but just followed your heart anyway? That's what this journey has felt like for us, and maybe for you too. There's something from your past, something you are exposed to as a child, that quietly shaped who you've become today. I think about that a lot. How memories, moments, even small experiences can anchor us in ways we don't always realize. Is there a place or a feeling that always brings you back to yourself? A moment that reminds you of who you are at the core? Or maybe you're carrying a dream that not everyone understands, but you believe in it anyway, just like we believed in this one. And if you're lucky, maybe you have that one person who gets it. Someone who supports you, even in the quiet, unspoken ways. You know, sometimes I imagine if I were building this home somewhere else, would I still want it to feel this grounded, this raw? There is something beautiful about working with your hands, using natural materials. It might not be everyone's style, but for some of us, it just felt right. And if you're doing this, starting from scratch, what little detail will matter to you? A cozy corner, a traditional doorway, a smooth modern finish, or a more rustic one like this? It's funny how these choices reflect who we are and what we value. Some of us want straight lines and polish, others want texture and soul. And honestly, just watching the walls go up slowly, it makes me wonder how many people out there have quietly built something with love, by hand, one layer at a time. And speaking of building slowly, if you're just joining us, welcome to our little family. We are so happy to have you here. Let us know where you're watching from in the comments. We love seeing how far this community reaches. Right now, we are building our village home from the ground up, and it's been such a journey. Every stage has been filled with lessons, surprises, and so much heart. If you'd like to catch up and see how far we've come, we have put together a full playlist you can watch. From the very beginning, when we first broke ground, all the way to where we are now. That way, we can walk this path together, and you can also share your thoughts with us as we go. And since you're here with us, I'd really love to hear what you think so far. What part of the build has caught your eye, or maybe even sparked an idea of your own? Sometimes you guys mention things we hadn't even considered, and it's those little details that really shape this whole experience. Maybe there's something you do differently, or something that made you smile and think, that's exactly how I would want mine to be. Don't be shy. Your thoughts, your feedback, they mean a lot to us. We are not just building walls here. We are creating a space where we all can learn, share, and grow together. So go ahead, tell us what stands out to you and what you'd love to see next. Three guys were working on the back wall, two focused on hiding the hanging rice rows and smoothing out an even mud, while the third trimmed the feet sticking out from the wall ends. After finishing the trimming, he joined the others to work together on completing the wall. They worked from both sides, one starting from the left and the other from the right, meeting in the middle. This process was just like what we did with the side and front walls before, making sure the finish is smooth and consistent all round. Now that the space above the doorway is fully filled and complete, which version do you like better? The open look or this more finished one? For me, closing it up has really enhanced the entrance, giving it a more polished and inviting appearance. It's incredible to see how far we've come, now covering up the inside walls after struggling with the crooked fito and rice rows that stuck out in every direction. What once felt like a challenge is now becoming something beautiful, and the house is slowly blossoming into a warm, inviting home from the outside. I feel so blessed that you've been here with me, watching this transformation unfold little by little. It means more than words can say to share these moments with you. By the way, I have seen your comments where some of you tried to guess the estimated cost of our build, and I must say, a few of you are impressively close. It really warms my heart that you took the time to think through it and even found it important enough to share your thoughts in the comments. Just like I promised, I'll be sharing a full cost breakdown with you very soon, so stay tuned. Sometimes when you see beautiful homes online, it's easy to admire the outcome without really knowing what it took to get there. That's why I feel it's important to be open, not just the wins, but with the actual process, including the costs and the lessons we've picked along the way. To be honest, when we first began, even we didn't have a clear picture of how everything would add up. We just started with what we had and kept moving. Seeing your interest in the cost breakdown reminded me why I chose to document this journey. To remove the mystery, to encourage someone else out there to take the first step, and to show that yes, it's possible. With planning, faith, and a lot of learning as you go, you can build something truly meaningful. By this point, it was just the two guys left working on the back wall, and they were cruising through it. Only a small portion was left, and you could just tell they wanted to wrap it up neatly. It's always satisfying to watch when there's that final stretch, like when you've been kneading dough for chapati and you know you're almost done. So you give it that final push with a little more energy. The teamwork here was smooth, no need for much talk. Each one knew what was left and where to patch. You could even see them adjusting tiny spots with their hands, making sure the wall looked even, not just done. What stood out most was how intentional they were with the detailing. Even the tiniest edges got proper attention, and instead of cutting corners, they kept refining the surface. It's these small touches that make the difference, because long after the build is done, it's how the walls feel and floor that stays with you. Watching that last stretch come together felt like putting the final brushstrokes on a canvas. Now, when you look at this living room space and the way the inside wall is coming together, doesn't it already start sparking a few ideas? For me, I can't help but imagine this space coming alive. Picture a soft woven mat on the floor, maybe a cozy seat in the corner where you can just sink in with a cup of tea, and a few shelves tucked along the wall for books, plants, or maybe even family photos. It's those tiny touches that really make a house feel like a home. And I want this space to reflect warmth, comfort, and good energy. But now, here's where I'd love your help. What direction do you think we should go with the walls inside? I keep going back and forth. Part of me wants to stay grounded in earthy tones that complement the natural materials we've used. Think of soft brown, terracotta, light beige, or even a warm clay color. Those tones have this grounding, rustic charm that flows with the whole build. But then there's also the idea of brightening it up a little, maybe with an off-white or warm cream that lets in more light and gives the space a more airy, open feel. And what about furniture layout? Should it be centered with a big open mat or tucked into corners? Maybe even a mix of wood and fabric to keep it cozy but structured. Let me know in the comments, what would you do if this were your living room? Paint colors, layout ideas, the kind of vibe you'll go for. I'm all ears, and I would love to shape this space with a little help from you. I keep picturing how this space will come alive once everything is done. Hosting my friends and family, just relaxing together in a space we've watched grow from the ground up. And now that we have that open plan kitchen connecting to the living room, I'm already imagining the aroma of food drifting through, maybe fresh chai, something baking, or even just a good simmering stew. The vibe I'm hoping for is soft, welcoming, like stepping into a space that wraps you in comfort. Maybe a little breeze blowing through, feet on a woven mat, laughter in the background, There's something I've been planning for this space too. I don't want to spoil it just yet, but let's just say you'll want to keep it here. Anyway, I think we'll pause it here for today. I honestly hadn't planned to say goodbye just yet. But time really does fly when we are deep in these updates. It always feels like I'm just talking to a friend, sharing the little wins, the small details, and the big dreams you're trying to bring to life. And the best part is knowing that you're right here with me, every step of the way. Your comments, your ideas, your encouragement. It means so much more than I can ever explain. So as we wrap up today's video, please remember to like, comment, share it with someone you know will enjoy this kind of content, and of course, subscribe if you haven't already. Bye! We shall try again tomorrow.